So how do I deal with nerves? Well, that day, on that day of that gig that I had, I suddenly felt really nervous. And honestly, nerves is something that is unavoidable, I reckon. No matter how seasoned a performer you are, it's gonna happen. And anyway, so what I did was, for me, and everyone's different, but my process is that I need to actually get alone. So when I'm actually really nervous, like normally I'm quite an extroverted person and I actually love to be around people and talking with them and stuff like that. But when it comes to, the moments before getting on stage and actually performing a song in front of a crowd, really, really need to get alone. And there's three things that I essentially do, and it's kind of, I guess, my pre-performance routine in a sense. And what I do is I get alone and I sit somewhere where I can be still, where there isn't all these people, stage managers and event organizers and sound guys running around me, or friends and family and people trying to make me feel better. I kind of just need to get alone, and often that's backstage, and I'll find somewhere and I'll just sit down. And I'll actually try and just really slow down my breathing, my thoughts, that sort of stuff. And I find that when I do that, I actually kind of, all the butterflies that are kind of whizzing around, flying around really chaotically in my stomach, begin to fly in formation. Now, how do I actually do that? I actually use a breathing exercise. So what I do is I just sit, just in a chair, not kind of slouching or anything and too relaxed, but, making sure I'm sitting straight. And all I do is I close my eyes and I focus on my breathing. And I breathe in for 3 and out for 3, and then I continue to add 1 more count on each one until about 10. So I'll show you what I mean. So if I'm sitting there, I'll just close my eyes and I'll actually use my arms and my hands as well to help me, because as I open up my hands, I actually breathe in, and then when I breathe out, I close my hands. In using my body, it just helps me to relax. And it helps my body to remain open as well. So what I do is this: I go breathe in, 2, 3, and then out, 2, 3, and then in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4. And I just do that up until about 10. So what that does is that slows the thoughts in my head right down, and it also means that the butterflies begin to fly in this sort of formation. Yeah, because the thing is, getting rid of butterflies, probably not going to happen, particularly while you're waiting and anticipating that moment of getting up in front of a crowd and singing, But it's okay. Rather than think, I've got to get rid of these butterflies, I've got to be completely not nervous and calm, just think, okay, how can I control those butterflies, Make them fly in and out in formation, rather than, in the stomach. So that's number 1. The second thing that I do, once I've actually calmed down and the butterflies are sort of flying in formation, I actually begin to visualize the performance going absolutely perfectly. I actually see in my mind's eye, me mesmerizing the crowd, me getting up there and just hitting every single note perfectly, and just being an absolute hit. That's what I do. I visualize it going absolutely perfectly, and I have to close my eyes, and I see it happening. I hear the way I'm sounding, and I actually feel the energy of the crowd. And this is actually a very powerful technique, positive visualization. And I know that a lot of athletes also use this as well. So, for example, basketballers, before they go out into the field before they go out into the court, to play a game, they actually visualize getting it absolutely perfectly. And it's a really powerful thing, So that's the second thing that I do. The third thing and final thing that I do is that I actually sit down and I remind myself, hey, this ain't about you. Because often the reason why I'm feeling nervous and angst and everything is because it's become about me. It's like, oh no, what if I don't sound great, What if I get up there and my throat just dries up and I try to sing and nothing comes out, or it comes out and I sound like a frog and, I completely embarrass myself, what if? And it's all these sort of what if questions that come up, and they tend to be very self-focused. So I have to sit down, and the most important thing that I can remind myself is, hey Kerry, it's just not about you. You know what? You've just got to get up there And your job is to uplift the audience. Your job is to go out there and sing with your whole heart, tell the story, and love what you do, you know, and that's it. And let the rest of it take care of itself. Trust in the practice that you've already done. Trust that your body knows what to do, and just get out there and just do it and let it happen, rather than being all anxious and, oh no, what if I don't get it right, you know, what if I don't sound perfect, and blah, blah, blah. So that's essentially what I do, you know, in order to overcome my nerves. Number one, I get alone and I sit down and I actually use a breathing exercise to make the butterflies fly in formation. The second thing I do is that I visualize the performance going absolutely amazingly perfect. And then the third and most important thing that I do is that I remind myself, this is not about me.